Hi, this is Gina Hardin. Recently I've been watching some KrisAnne Hall videos, and today I actually saw a live stream of a 5-hour seminar that she did, and it was incredible. She was talking about state sovereignty and the roots of our liberty, talking about a genealogy of the Constitution. And so I'm going to give you some tidbits of what I've learned over the next several videos. And obviously I'm not going to do a 5-hour presentation like she did, but in a few minutes let me just teach you one thing that I learned today, or share with you. So I have a question. What is a state? You know, in America we have 50 states, and we think of countries outside of the United States like Germany, France, China, you know, any nation you think of, we think of those as nations or countries, but in reality they're states. You know, we have a Secretary of State, and what we have to realize is that each one of our 50 states are free, independent, sovereign states, just as much as these foreign states are states. So we have to think of ourselves not just as a state. We can't think of ourselves as a colony of the federal government, but actually as a sovereign nation. And you know, we think about the United States, and sometimes we think about ourselves as well, let's go back. Who created the states? How were the states formed? It was actually just before the Declaration of Independence. On July 2nd, so 2 days prior to the Declaration of Independence, you have the Lee Resolution. And that's actually when the states were first created. And if you look at the last paragraph of the Declaration of Independence, you know, they're declaring their independence from Britain. And in the last paragraph, they say, these colonies should and ought to be free and independent states. And so then later, you know, we go to when we had the Articles of Confederation first, and then of course that wasn't working out. It wasn't doing enough of what we needed. We needed to make a more perfect union, and so we created the Constitution. And so what powers do a state have? A state has the power for war, peace, foreign commerce, foreign relations. This is the power that a state has. And this is the power that every state in our union has. With the one, I guess, thing you would say about that, though, is that we have delegated that power to the federal government. So let's go back a little bit. Who created the federal government? Well, it was the states. So at the time you had the 13, originally you had your 13 colonies that declared themselves to be states when we broke away from England. And so now you had 13 states, and they said, we want to form a more perfect union. And those 13 states then created the federal government. Now, you can't think of the states. The states are not inferior to the federal government. The states created the federal government. They're not even equal to it. The federal government is not equal to the states. The states created it. And a creation can never be greater than its creator, or else you have Frankenstein, as KrisAnne Hall put it. And so we need to remember that if you live wherever you live, California, Georgia, Texas, Washington, Rhode Island, you are a free, independent, sovereign state. And we have simply delegated our external foreign affairs to the federal government. And what is that word delegate? What does that mean? To delegate something is to give temporary authority from a higher power to a lower power. Like if I hire a babysitter, I can delegate power to that person to care for my children, but I have not surrendered my power. I've just temporarily given someone else power to care for them. And so I hope we can better understand the difference between states and colonies and not confuse ourselves. We are not colonies of the federal government. We are sovereign states, and we'll talk more about what that means and what the responsibilities of the states and the state legislatures are. I hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends and subscribe to join me next time right here where liberty grows.